Hello, Virgo. This is Angel Aura Divination, and I'm here to give the sign of Virgo their June 2021 tarot reading. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Virgo or anybody who resonates with it. It's a timeless reading. I suggest going to listen to the collective reading that I posted prior to this video and this series of videos for this week. It will give you some overall collective energies that we all might be experiencing at this time as a community. So that might be helpful for you if you are noticing a lot of patterns in a lot of these readings, that a lot of people are going through similar situations. Especially the ones that are watching these videos. So I'm going to be using the Energy Oracle to give you the overall energies for the reading, and then I'm going to be using the Morgan Greer Tarot and the Star Tarot to give me some further messages for your reading. I'm going to be doing an intuitive reading, and I'm using the Star Tarot. I love the Star Tarot. I just got it. It's one of my favorite decks already. It has a lot of beautiful, spiritual, insightful imagery that it's really easy to pull intuitive messages from. That's why I'm using it. I'm only going to be pulling one Star Tarot card though. Let's just get into your reading, Virgo. So can you please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff? I would really appreciate it. If you like the video or it resonates for you, always let me know in the comments, because that makes me feel good and also lets me know that I'm doing something right for you. Leave a star emoji in the comments if you like this reading. I would really appreciate that as well. Thank you. Okay, so we have some interesting cards out for you, Virgo. Let's just get right into it though. We have hostilities. This is a 26 reducing down to an 8. An 8 is all about limitations and expansion. I think right now you're going to be expanding out of some personal limitations and moving more into some grounded, what is it? It's almost like combative energy. This is interesting because I think like Leo, or who would it be? Leo or probably Cancer had this energy in their reading, and I think that it was in the same spot. So you could be dealing with somebody with those placements, or you could have those placements yourself as well. You could be really defensive right now against other people. You might even need to start practicing some deeper spiritual defensiveness, or just doing some more spiritual protection for yourself. You might be experiencing some spiritual or psychic attacks right now that you really need to protect yourself from. I see also in this card that you might even be, okay, they're saying to focus on the leaves. Oh, you might be spending too much money. That's really what this is about. You might be spending too much money and you need to do some spiritual work on grounding yourself in reality and remembering where you're at right now. I know you might be manifesting money for yourself, but ultimately you need to protect your monetary income a little bit more. Like slow down the spending so that you can also obtain more, because having some money will also help you pull in more money. That's what I think. I don't know if that's necessarily the truth, but that's a good rule to follow. Don't spend all your money. You know, then you won't always be looking for more. The Star Tarot card that we have out for this hostilities card is the Queen of Swords. This is kind of a further confirmation about that spiritual protection energy. And it's like you can be open intuitively and open spiritually and still be protecting yourself, or still be guarded against certain things, people, situations, or outcomes. Especially the outcomes is what they actually told me intuitively. I think also though that you need to kind of open yourself up to more free, expansive thought. And that's really interesting because expansion, I think is that Jupiter or Saturn? You might be having some kind of, because they're highlighting the expansion, and I don't really, because I did channel that message. I guess that, yeah, it's Saturn. So you could really be trying to open yourself up a little bit more, is really what I'm saying, to the possibilities of some personal growth that you might need right now. And that's interesting because the first card that we have out is Temperance. Temperance is Sagittarius. I just think that's interesting. Because isn't it Sagittarius ruled by... Yikes. Oh, well, anyway... It might be Jupiter as well, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Okay, that makes sense. So it could be Jupiter and Saturn. There might be some kind of conjunction or some kind of aspect in your own birth chart that's really affecting you right now due to the other placements in the current chart as of right now, which would be transits. So look into your birth chart transits, and also your birth chart aspects within your, like, by yourself. I'm not explaining that well, but it's astrology and I'm not an astrologer, so go find your own information. Good luck. Anyway, with Temperance here and the Queen of Swords, it's also saying, though, that you need to be a little balanced in the energy surrounding the things that you want to manifest when you connect to your guides. You might be really trying to hold some things back right now that are kind of slipping out. You might even have some kind of word vomit energy there, because I was trying to hold back that sneeze and that kind of felt like your energy more so than mine, where it was kind of like there are things that are really coming to the forefront for you right now that you're going to need to work on balancing out, especially because we have Temperance here talking about internal and spiritual balance, and then we have the Chariot here with balanced action. But it's like you have to balance out your mind space and your spiritual self as well, connecting those things together to really form some kind of union with the two energies. With the Two of Cups here, that's exactly what it's talking about, the union with the two energies, so that you can manifest love, because that is what I'm seeing that you're trying to manifest, but also be able to protect this manifestation when you do take action, because the action that you take might be unbalanced if you don't try to connect that union energy between the logical mind and the spiritual mind. Now, this is not necessarily about the divine feminine, divine masculine energies within you or without you, but it is kind of about like the polarities of the spiritual and the mundane, the spiritual and the logical, because you're trying to get your monkey brain to really understand, and you're not a monkey, but you know what I mean, you're trying to get your like animal brain to understand that you might also be having a spiritual experience, but at the same time not always be in the astral, not always be in the ether, not always be in the 5D or whatever you want to call it. The next two cards that we have out for you when we talk about this romantic situation that you might be trying to manifest for yourself right now, Virgo, is a past life connection, or possibly some kind of connection between you and somebody from your literal past, like possibly even childhood, or at least a couple of years. You've known this person for at least a little while, and this is going to be communication that you're trying to manifest, a new beginning in communication with this person. You might even feel like this person is a soulmate, with the Six of Cups and the Two of Cups both being out here for you, and that might even be something that your guides are trying to ordain for you by pushing you to balance out your energies. They're saying something about this also possibly being related to mental health, but I'm not a mental health professional, so I can't give you any more advice on that. With the Ace of Swords here, you do want to manifest a new beginning when it comes to communication with this person. You might have been out of communication with this individual and you want to develop something further. But you really need to ground yourself a little bit more before you get into that energy, and really plant seeds with this person before you try to push this into a deep soul union. And that's really what I'm seeing here for the hostilities card. So also remember that you need to really protect your manifestation at this time, because there might be people trying to work against it, or you might even be feeling some spiritual or psychic attacks. And these could also be spiritual tests, because you might be going through some kind of awakening, which is leading me into this next card, the Magician in the Mirror. I see right now that you might be going through your own personal shamanic or spiritual awakening. This is a 53 reducing to an 8. This is the second 8 that we have on the deck. On the table. 8 being about that expansion. So you are possibly having those upgrades. You are possibly having, that continual, Anyway, you are having those, like, that continual, psychic upgrades, spiritual upgrades, where you're starting to possibly even notice new abilities, or the manifestations that you think of are coming to you faster on the small manifestations especially, or coming to you a lot faster, and you're starting to notice that you might even be some kind of magnet, or possibly. And this is also another indication that you do need to focus on balancing, but also this could even have to do with your self-image as well. They're saying to me with the Magician in the Mirror, where you're seeing yourself differently because of the things that are happening to you spiritually. And that's fine, but you need to remember to stay grounded in the reality of your actual life. So just because part of your identity might even be changing spiritually because of some things that you believe or some things that you've experienced, that doesn't mean that you have to suddenly be a different person. And the next card that we have out for you from the Star Tarot is the Prince of Swords. You might be feeling very attracted to somebody around you, and you're stimulated by your attraction to this person, which is leading you to communicate with this individual. Something about the situation, though, feels a little bit blocked. It's kind of like you have unclear thought because you want to speak clearly. And that's an interesting way to see that based on this card. I'm also kind of seeing that you might be trying to detract from well, it's kind of like there are some intuitive downloads that you're getting that are negative, or that are coming from a negative source or a negative space. And this really sounds like, spiritual tests, or possibly even negative entities around you that are trying to really mess up the vibe that you have going on with this relationship that I'm seeing here for you, or the spiritual upgrade, which possibly might even be related. But I also do see that this person might even communicate with you through their spirit guides somehow. And that's really something also to keep into consideration, because you might be dealing with a practitioner of some sort, or possibly somebody who can mirror that energy back to you. With the Magician in the mirror, you might be having some spiritual upgrades due to the relationship that you're in, and the person that you're dealing with might have already had those, or might be going through those at the same time as you, depending on where you're at in your own journey. And with the Prince of Swords, you're really being pushed to communicate about that with this person if you don't already. But also you might just need to communicate about that with your guides as well. I always suggest meditation and possibly even prayer if you have a higher spiritual being or power that you connect with. So let's get some Morgan Greer cards out for this Magician in the Mirror, Prince of Swords energy. We have the Ten of Wands, we have the Hermit, we have, we have the King. This is the Knight of Wands, and this is the Four of Cups. So let's go start with the Ten of Wands and the Hermit. You've walked away from a situation in the past, possibly even this love situation that you were in with this person, to have a spiritual awakening, or possibly even a journey of the self. You might have walked away from another burdensome relationship, because I saw a relationship here in the Ten of Wands. I don't know what that's about though. And if it's not a relationship, it could also be just that you had a lot of things on your plate, so you decided that you'd rather be alone. And this could have been in the recent past or the distant past, and that's something that you're really starting to analyze now, especially as you've gone through possibly even the quarantine. And throughout the pandemic, I think that that's something that you're really dealing with. You might even be feeling the effects of isolation, and you don't really like that. Your guides are on your side, but this is also showing me a deeper message with the Knight of Wands and the Four of Cups, where there might have even been a rejection of a manifestation that you brought into your life, and it came to you, you didn't like it, you rejected it, and you walked away from it. So let's get some more cards up to tell me about that situation a little bit more. You're getting your karma from that situation now. This is Justice. This is also the energy of the vengeful Divine Feminine, basically, where it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's a lot of information that I don't want to talk about on YouTube. Okay, so basically what I'm getting here is that, the energy needed to be balanced out. And if the universe offered something to you and you didn't want it and you didn't take it, you got karma for that, regardless on who exacted that karma, whether it was a divine being, an ascended master, or something else. That's really not really my business. I can't say. This is supposed to be a collective reading anyway. So let's get another card out. This is the last card that I'm getting for the Magician in the Mirror, but you are also still being offered a new beginning in this situation. It's kind of like, it's kind of like you got a slap on the wrist, basically, with the Justice card here, but you're also getting your reward still. So if you rejected something in the past, it might be coming back around to you, or you might be getting a new opportunity. This is part of your spiritual journey, though, so it might have been somewhat necessary for you to reject what it is you rejected, but the way that you went about it was a little bit too harsh, and that's kind of why the universe is giving you, they're saying something about lashings. I don't know. So it sounded kind of like it was kind of sounding like you were getting like what is it? I don't know how to put that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to move forward. In the next card, and the final card from the Energy Oracle that we have for the main part of your reading, is Adjacent Possibilities. And they're actually saying to focus on this purple door. Purple is all about what chakra is purple? Purple is the brow. The brow is like, no, purple is violet. The violet is the crown. So you might be connecting to the crown chakra and really getting some intuitive hits about the next opportunity you're going to have in this relationship situation that you're having. But this also could be related to the spiritual awakening that you're going through right now. It might even be opening up to some possible job opportunities for you in this energy. This is a 24, reducing down to a 6, also talking about universal or divine love as well. So you could be connecting to a twin flame or a soulmate in this energy, but ultimately it's kind of talking about how that you might have even walked away from the situation with this person so that you could actually ascertain a career situation for yourself. And now that you have that under wraps, you might even be, or under lock, under wraps or under lock, it depends on what you're dealing with. You might even be trying to step through the door of possibility for the situation to actually make it work out with the soulmate or person. Or if this is a new person coming into your energy as well, you might be seeing that the opportunity for a soulmate or divine union that you were trying to have with somebody else, or that you rejected with somebody else, is coming into fold with a new individual, which would also be interesting because that also would be part of your own spiritual journey, where you're starting to realize that maybe the person that you idealized at one point, or that you were in trying attempting a union with, is what they're saying, is actually not as meant for you as you thought, or something like that. And the next card out that we have from the Star Tarot is the Ten of Wands, which is a double confirmation of the Ten of Wands. And really, with the Star Tarot, I always kind of take these cards from the Star Tarot as giving you more advice on how to get over the difficult energies that are expressed through the tarot, as opposed to just expressing the difficult energies themselves. And I really see here, especially, okay, that's a lot of symbolism. You need to connect to your deeper divine masculine, especially if you are a masculine person. Even if you're not necessarily a masculine identified individual, you might need to connect a little bit deeper to your divine masculine energy and really put some more of that forceful, action-oriented, controlling but not necessarily domineering energy, trying to have some like healthy, logical, organized thought into certain things that you're dealing with right now. You might even feel like you might be taming a certain wild beast within you or something like that, and you really need to connect a little bit more to that ascended energy, and like try to figure out where your ideal self lies and grab a hold of that and make that be the goal for the spiritual journey that you're going on, instead of having that relationship be the spiritual goal that you're going towards, if that makes sense. I also kind of get with this energy, though, that you might need to focus more on the wisdom, listening to the wisdom around you, whether that's through like media, like TV or social media, or whatever you watch on YouTube and stuff like that, as opposed to trying to form wisdom within yourself. But the wisdom within yourself is also valuable, but it also would benefit you right now to listen to the wisdom of others as well, especially if you're feeling burdened in your current circumstances. And the next two cards that we have out from the Morgan Greer Tarot is the Page of Swords and the Six of Wands. So if you are taking a lot of time out to watch somebody else on social media, that is going to be victorious for you, or the situation with that person would be victorious for you. But what else I'm seeing here is that you need to put a little bit more effort into studying about what you want, or studying, or not necessarily studying, but you need to gather more information about the things that you want so that you can manifest them. Basically, it's like you have to have an understanding of what something looks like, how it's going to feel, what it's going to be like for you, if you want to really bring it into your life. And once you start taking action towards the manifestation itself, whether that's literally taking action in the 3D world or something else, whatever you do, they're saying candle magic. They said candle magic. So maybe you're burning a lot of candles right now, and you need to kind of get your priorities set with the candles a little bit more, where you put deeper intention into it. Maybe use more oil. That's what they're saying, or something like that. That's not my business, I'm just saying. The next card out we have is the Seven of Cups. So it's really because you need to clear out the illusions. There are aspects, and I really was getting that with the Prince of Swords as well here. The Prince of Swords is not the Knight of Swords, it's the Page of Swords here. So that's actually double confirmation for this deck, that you might be watching somebody, or somebody might be watching you. But that's also a very studious energy, where you're starting to try and learn what, and this could even be you developing your own personal intuition, actually, but you're starting to try and learn what is like, they're saying like, what is positive or correct thought, what is a good way of thinking about the things that I want, or how to go about the spiritual journey that I'm on right now. And it's really about clearing out the clutter, moving out situations that don't serve you in this energy, because you are seeing a lot of options, you're seeing a lot of opportunity open up for you with this spiritual connectionness, the spiritual connectedness that you feel with the universe. Okay, we're taking all these. Okay, so we had a bunch of cards jump out, but I'm just going to take them all and hit you really fast with them. The first card out that we have is Death. Change is imminent for you. It's going to be abrupt, and it's going to be fast. The next card out that we have is the Lovers. You could be dealing with a Scorpio or a Gemini person. Or you could have those placements yourself as well. The Lovers is saying that the change that's coming has to do with the choice in love. The next card out that we have is the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords talks about moving into calmer water, so you could be leaving behind situations where you felt like you were stuck in your head, or like you were possibly even feeling the energy of an indecision type energy, and you're moving towards that Lover's energy where you're going to be making better decisions based on the guidance that you feel within yourself, and possibly even outside of yourself with your own guides, gods, whatever you believe in. And then the next card out that we have is the Fool, which is a representation of action, then a representation of movement, a representation of blind faith in the universe after you've kind of ascertained what intuition is for you. And the next card out that we have is the Nine of Swords. So and actually what they're showing me is, because the Nine of Swords came out in reverse, and that I was going to say it in like, more of a negative connotation, but now they're actually saying that this is you kind of getting out of that mental burden that you're feeling. Especially at night, especially when you're sleeping. You could even be dreaming about somebody right now, and that's something that you're trying to get out of, because the dreams might even be negative, or they might even be nagging you to take action towards this person that you're dealing with. And so now you're pushing yourself, really, and that's great energy to be in. I think ultimately right now you could very well be pushing yourself with the Prince of Swords, because I took the Prince of Swords as like a partial Knight of Swords energy, even though it's really a representation of the Page of Swords in the Star Tarot, meaning you are pushing towards communication instead of sitting in that energy of just sitting and watching and waiting and learning from the sidelines with the Page of Swords energy. So let's get one more energy oracle card out for you, Virgo. We have Door to Spirit. Wow. This is a 32 reducing down to a 5. The change that's happening for you is also a spiritual change. And you might even be manifesting a deep union with somebody. I don't know who it would be, because there's a couple of readings that actually kind of sat in this energy. So especially if you have a twin flame relationship, that might be really affecting you right now, because I am trying to connect to the collective. And I believe that I am, if I'm getting a lot of similar messages for a lot of the same readings for this week at least. So you might be coming into union with somebody, or if it's not that, you might be finding a deeper union within your own spirituality, coming into a greater sense of peace, but also connecting really deeply to possibly even your past lives. You might even be opening the door, or opening the book to your own Akashic records to a certain extent. They're saying it's not full, and that might even be my ego, but I was really getting that from my guides. They're saying it's not a full extent to where it's going to be like you were this person in this past life and you learned this lesson, but you are going to start learning more about who you might have been or who you could be based on your own Akashic records, whatever that means for you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go research it yourself, and that's your advice. So let's get one more card out from the Morgan Greer Tarot to give you some further advice, and then we'll get up out of here, Virgo. We have the Two of Pentacles. This is talking about that indecision. I think you're going to be moving out of indecision. They're saying really figure out your pros and cons on a personal level, with the Two of Pentacles being about the Door to Spirit. You really need to decide what it is that spiritually influences and also benefits you. Because actually, I'm kind of even getting a message now that the things that you might have done in the past when it came to spirituality might not have benefited you in the same way that you thought they were. Or as you change and as you develop moving forward in the spiritual journey, you're going to start noticing a lot of things that at one time were very important to you kind of move out of that important energy, and your priority list is going to shift, and that's going to be the upcoming energy for you. So hopefully this was helpful to you, Virgo, and I will see you in your next reading. Also, if you got to this point in the reading, leave a star emoji in the comments. Thank you. Excuse me.